Zima nuts.
Anajiendesha. Hawezi kuwa anajiendesha na hawa watu wote. Is he driving himself? Ati Uhuru sasa ndiye amekuwa campaign manager wa NASA.
The story would be hata ungemwambia mapema.
Ati? Tamwambia. Uliza sema nini? Raila support 2022. Yeah, that's one question that we must answer. We must answer. Wewe mimi kaa wapi kwanza? Hii interview yenu I'm also part of it, but I'm not. Takaribisha kiti. So je, tufanye aje?
Hapo.
Hii short tutembee hapa
Mtembee wapi?
Ama unataka
mkuje hivi na yeye. Sasa Jeff.
Analetea rafiki yangu anaitwa Kalonzo, I don't know when I last saw him. Where have you been, man? Around. You want to wire me?
No, I go on. Yeah, I do.
sawa.
So that's the one way we can't go. Hii nyasi imekuwa overgrown a bit.
Again, it's very nice. It gives this place
That kind of thing.
oh yeah.
Because I'm supposed to be advising even if I was not in politics.
True.
This guy was talking about
Aitwa Karemi yule Mmeru.
anataka mimi ni na official policy ya wasichana wakiitwa na wanaume wanapelekewa fair. Even official policy. Itakao. I said, oh, she's such a hit.
Yes.
Do you know yule mwingine anaitwa nani yule alipata 500,000 hits? Kena. He's so popular.
Very.
And we went as kid there tukajificha pale, anakataa kwenda kwa shule, mimi naenda shule.
Those people have become quite a phenomenon.
Oh, Kena hit of 547,000.
You see?
Which public rally would you call?
I sought you because of our meeting at State House. Not so much has been said about it, but what was the meeting all about?
Thank you, Ken. First of all, I want to thank the President for his agreeing to meet us at State House. The sole purpose of our going to State House was to invite President Uhuru Kenyatta to visit the Lower Eastern region, because there's a reason for it. During his term as President, he has really started quite a number of projects. And you know, there are those people who think maybe because of the quarreling within Jubilee, nothing has been achieved. But I want you to know that among other projects that we hope you will be able to visit will be the Konza City. Konza City, in fact, it took over from what President Kibaki and some of us have tried to do. We launched Konza City, the Silicon Savannah. And so much is happening. In fact, Kenyans will be amazed to see what President Uhuru has put in as President of the Republic in that particular project. And of course, Minister Mucheru, Minister responsible for ICT, has been the driving force. And then we also hope that he can look at a few water projects. In fact, I did propose to him that Makueni County is one of the few counties without a public university. We are proposing that Southeastern University, which is based, the main campus is in Kitui, that it will find it easy to accommodate a college, a constituent college of Seku at Wote in Makueni County. Because apart from everything else, that university will, as it is, Seku has over 4,000 acres of land in Makueni itself. And so this is for dry land farming and all kinds of other challenges There's a magnificent college that Musyoka has put up at Wote. And we also hope he can look at the progress of the construction of the mega dam, the 39 billion, I think it is, or 29 billion, I'm not sure. I can check those numbers. Thwake Dam, which unlike Kimorar and the others are all dams, were not part of the scandal. So that is continuing. And the president will, I'm quite sure, look at that. And then hopefully he can spend some time also opening the road, driving on the road, which is the road that links our port city of Mombasa with Addis Ababa. It's a major infrastructural achievement. And I hope the president can drive on that road, a road that actually as vice president launched the construction of the same, but during his second term, he completed it up to Kitui. But we will also be hoping he can drive along from Kitui to Mwingi to Maua in Meru. This is a project. And from Maua to Isiolo. And in fact, with that road, you can imagine a situation where we will have a reduction of road accidents between, say, Isiolo, Nyeri, Nairobi, Mombasa. And it's a shortcut to Ethiopia, which is landlocked. So we hope the president can also open a commission. That one is ready for commissioning. Hopefully the people who have some claims in terms of land compensation will also be looked at. And then the second day, we hope he can do what actually Charity Ngilu herself felt, and I agreed with that completely, that as governor of Kitui, have a mega irrigation scheme at Wikidhuki. Again, President Kibaki started this when he was the president, and we think there's land enough, sufficient land, 10,000 acres. And it will not go the same way as Kunalo. What is this one? Galana Kulanu. This is a project that is already taken off, and I think with a little effort, solarization, so we do not avoid the pumping costs, we will be able to give people food sufficiency. And this is why Wiper Democratic Movement has been supporting President Uhuru's vision, is Agenda 4, which is also part of Vision 2030. If we had the time, we would even have taken him to the proposed site of the mega 2030 Vision Dam, which is the High Force Dam. That High Force Dam brings together counties of Tharaka Nithi, yes, Kitui, Meru, and it will really then make sure that we'll have enough irrigation capacity to be able to kick off hunger from Kenya.
Well, it seems like you had quite a heavy discussion, and one would think that there was no politics that was spoken in that meeting. Was there any?
In fact, I remember, because President allowed me a one-on-one with him before coming to meet the others. And the way this came about was, I gave him a call because you remember he had sent a message of condolences to his friend Mtoto Asquatter, the late Kalembe Ndile. And I had not spoken to him, but the message was sent that I read it on his behalf. So I had a duty to also give him a report on what the family expectations were. But I think he said, yeah, come on Monday. But then I told him, Mr. President, remember there's this outstanding visit to Lower Eastern. In fact, he was supposed to have made this trip before he went to Kisumu. So he said, I do remember. Can I then come with leaders? And I came up with the leaders. And that is why I'm so grateful to both Governors Charity Ngilu and Alfred Mutua for agreeing to join me. And in fact, the President, perhaps the only political statement he made was when he said, this is amazing to see the leader of Chap Chap and the leader of NAC flagging my brother Steve. That's what he said. Those were his precise words. Because that showed the unity of a community, which has never been visible until this meeting. So we were shocked to hear other people making issues out of it. I cannot remember President Uhuru Kenyatta saying he will endorse a NASA presidential candidate. So this is for the record. But if there are people who are afraid for reasons best known to themselves, let them also, of course, appreciate the president is a voter in this country. And if he chooses to support whoever, I think it is his democratic right. So people should stop crying wolf. If they are themselves the source of the confusion within the Jubilee party, I think I need to remind them, Wiper actually has a cooperation agreement with Jubilee. But we said Wiper cooperates with President Uhuru Kenyatta. So we are stakeholders. And this, of course, following what happened between President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister, the handshake, which opened opportunity for Kenyans to look beyond some of those rather demagogic positions that were bringing mayhem, killing, hatred, and lack of cohesion. That's why we moved in that direction. Because, you know, mimi ni mpatanishi, and Kenyans may have forgotten what I did. When I said nitapita katikati, and they used to laugh, wengine wanaongeza, wanasema alisema atapita katikati hataonekana. But I meant that between Kibaki and Raila, and did I not literally contribute to the stability of this wonderful country?
You did. But now the question begs, you're saying that nobody spoke about supporting a NASA candidate, and you're very sure about that?
Yes, the president was categorical. The president is for unity, and I think that is the essence of building bridges initiative, where you have inclusivity. I think the president's mind, if I read him correctly, he's very clear about the need to have a country that is all inclusive, not a country with leaders saying it is our turn to eat to the exclusion of others, or a community saying it is our turn to lead the country to the exclusion of others. The president's mind is clear that we need, and he said it, by the way, very controversially, if I remember the funeral of Mama Musalia Mudavadi, yes, when he said, what if I said, as a Kenyan, entitled to an opinion, that because this country has the rulership, if you like, because of this idea kwamba mkiwa pale mutakula, that it has been two communities that had been at the helm of leadership of this country. And I know some people jumped at him. But they're Kenyans. This is why he was saying inclusivity. Let us not hide behind the quarrels in Jubilee of whatever nature. And those are issues I'm sure they can sort between themselves. But Wiper has an interest in the sense that we are cooperating with Jubilee. Now, that is a reality. The president did not talk about that he will endorse a NASA chief. A NASA chief. Of course, NASA, of course, was strong in 2017. We had code in 2013. When our friend Musalia joined us in 2017, NASA was a very strong thing. But the story about NASA is now different.
What do you mean the story about NASA is different?
It's different in the sense that, first of all, under the terms of the coalition agreement, which is a public document, and Kenyans have the right to find out what do their leaders commit themselves to by asking or just downloading stuff from the Anne Derritu's political parties registrar. She's a registrar of political parties, so she's I believe she has a central registry, and Kenyans can look at that. You will see one of the things we had committed ourselves to was the need to have regular meetings, because if political leaders coalescing together in the form of a political coalition that they cannot meet, then obviously the programs cannot continue. And I'm sorry to tell you that I, with the concurrence of my friends in ANC, Mudavadi and Wetangula of Ford Kenya, I tried to write to my friend Raila many times asking, let us have a meeting, let us have a meeting. And there was no meeting. So literally what there is, and I said this, I said this.
Start
Sorry
from the
about
lighting,
the.
sorry.
We're in the flying zone.
Yeah,
I'll repeat that.
yeah.
What I said during the burial of Kalembe Ndile himself, and everybody will remember Kalembe Ndile kama mtoto wa squatter, bold, was fearless. He told you exactly what he thought about you, and that was him. So the president's message was he said, you mean mtoto wa squatter ametuacha? But at that meeting, at that funeral service, I spoke of NASA. When Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga said him and his friend Kalonzo can always find a working formula, that is a good thing. And when Charity Gilu said what she said, that if you don't unite, whatever the consequences are, I thought she went overboard, because it's giving mileage, unnecessary mileage, to an individual whom we are determined to defeat. Even I, as Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, for the love of this nation, would want to find one William Samoei Arap Ruto at the ballot box. And he should prepare for that eventuality. It is a good thing. Did we not even see some of the reasons today? That during the first term of President Uhuru's Jubilee administration, graft was the order of the day. We were watching from the opposition benches. And the time is coming when we are going to call a spade, as I said again, for the love of this nation. But please don't put words in the mouths of President Uhuru Kenyatta. If you want another meeting with him so he can clarify, I think you are free to do so. But please, the idea is to kind of besmirch and a very important regional meeting, yeah, the Lower Eastern region, wanting to invite the president to come and spend, in fact, I remember Alfred Mutua was saying 3 days, not even 2 days. Because, first of all, it's an expansive region. I don't know whether Kenyans know. If you look at the geography of Makueni plus Kitui plus Machakos, you have a country bigger than Rwanda. All right? And so you require a lot of time. And so please don't spoil this party, because the community came together. And that's why I want to thank again Governor Mutua and Gilu for coming, because it was wonderful. And the unity of the community is evident going forward. So we don't want to be drawn into these Jubilee fights. We don't want to be drawn into that. And as I said, if the Deputy President is too a member of Jubilee, I'm sure he can reach out to the President, and they have their own meeting. But to pretend they know what was discussed and what the President said, and I was there myself, and I'm normally very alert, okay? In fact, I think I have a mind that acts like a sieve. I don't remember the President saying he's going to endorse anybody.
There's a line
Maybe the time for that will come, but not at that meeting.
There's a line of thought you had picked about NASA, and you said that you had written countless letters.
Yes.
Probably you could pick up on that and finish that line of thought.
Yes, because as far as I'm concerned,
and according to you, is NASA
it will require a miracle, nothing short of a miracle, to rebuild the trust within the NASA coalition parties. I can tell you personally, I'm willing and ready to talk, but I can understand where you're coming from. From the sharing a very clearly elaborated formula for sharing from the political parties' fund to people to people attending a by-election in Kibra and announcing that as ODM, NASA was dead.
It will take a miracle.
It will take a miracle to revive NASA. But we're also saying we can reconstitute NASA in a bigger and better way. And this is why you'll be hearing from us, the promoters, the original principles of One Kenya movement, One Kenya Alliance, Wiper Democratic Movement, ANC, Ford Kenya, KANU, all right? And this is a formidable alliance. In our mind, that is the way we are going. We don't want to go backwards. And if I heard my friend Modavadi speak, I think in Mombasa, He was being himself. Because truth be said, NASA is there technically. Because, as I said again at the funeral, you will need at least 3 of the main political parties, and there are 5 of us. There is ODM, there's Wiper, there's ANC, Ford Kenya, and Mashinani, right, of former Governor Isaac Ruto. So, if 3, under the terms of that coalition agreement, if 3 of us decide to officially wind up NASA, then we can do so.
And that is what you're doing through OCA?
No. We are moving on. It can actually die. I think NASA would die a natural death. Because if you imagine that Wiper and ANC and Ford Kenya and now KANU is not part of NASA, right? Joining as One Kenya Alliance, what does that mean? We have actually set up our own technical teams who are advising. And I think we realize that time is of essence.
So it means that if you have taken a different turn, then NASA is technically there on paper, but dead.
Technically on paper, for sure. I wouldn't say dead, but it's technically on paper. Maybe the whole thing, the ball is in the court of ODM. Because they are the ones who killed it during the by-election in Kibra, when their own Secretary General announced that NASA is dead. The rest of us said it is not dead. And it is still there on paper. But as I said, it would require a miracle to rebuild that confidence. When you have breach of trust at that level, where leaders cannot meet, where leaders are calling each other names as if they are children, then you see, some of us, as I said, were patanishi, and I'm ready to talk to any of my colleagues, but clearly it will require a miracle. Because you see, when you're walking a beaten trail, and you know the pitfalls, you know the insincerity, you know the bad mouthing and the bad faith, you rather think very strategically. And so for us, One Kenya Alliance, is ready to take off.
In other words, anybody who wants to speak to you with regards to 2022 will have to speak to you as Okoa Kenya Alliance.
It's not Okoa Kenya, my friend. There was Okoa Kenya, which
the One Kenya Alliance.
Chebukati alikataza.
So in other words, anybody, including Raila, who wants to speak to you.
But I like it. We're still actually Okoa in Kenya.
So including Raila, who wants the NASA brigade to come together, will not to speak to you as individuals, but will have to speak to you as One Kenya Alliance,
we are
as a team.
My mind is clear. And if our friends want to be sincere, we said that we have not closed the door. In fact, we are just again the trailblazers, and I'm telling you a lot of people are going to join One Kenya Alliance. I want to take this opportunity to welcome our friends in ODM to join us, because that is the way to go. In my view, it will be easier now with the addition of KANU, it will be easier to renegotiate another alliance, but the basis should be One Kenya Alliance.
This story that was in the Star that said that the president will support one NASA principle, where do you think will come?
I don't know where they got that from, and it was absolutely misleading. I think mischievous, but I believe in the freedom of the media. So let the laws, there's such a thing in law as when you're calculating benefits and you're not able to agree on a situation, you say, let the laws lie where it is. And I think the laws is with Star for misleading Kenyans. And then allowing people to come up with the terrific, in their view, I think, because they're looking for any opportunity to besmirch the image of the president. Now, let me tell you, in Western democracies, somebody like President Uhuru Kenyatta serving a second term, right, and final term, a lot of people want to think is lame duck. I think they're afraid of the ability of this president, still young, energetic, to assert himself. So if they are looking for his attention, I'm quite sure the president is very, very warm-hearted, right? But I think he's looking also at the greater good of this nation. He wants to leave a legacy that will not have his name put in poor state. But the other thing he explained, seriously, is this debate with the judiciary. And I think it was very categorical when it came to Chapter 6 situation against the fait accompli situation, where he's not supposed to touch anything that Judicial Service Commission has passed. And I think it was heartwarming to hear his explanation. But allow me not to talk about that for now, because I think I have given my thinking about it.
What do you think of Ruto's reaction to your meeting and also trying to rant at the president for probably thinking about NASA and propping one of you?
You know, if I was William Ruto, and I probably want to advise him, I was Vice President to Mzee Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki left office a very satisfied president with his deputy. I can't understand how, and this can only happen in Kenya, where you have a deputy effectively wrestling his boss, because the only thing is he knows the constitution protects him. Even if President Uhuru today did whatever he wants to do, he knows he cannot remove William Ruto. But if William Ruto wants to be a true Democrat and he feels that he cannot work with President Uhuru Kenyatta, the most honorable thing to do is to resign. In fact, that will give him mileage. In my view, it will give him terrific mileage. But you cannot really besmirch a situation where, you know, first of all, you've been in this whole thing for 8 years as deputy president, 8 years, and then you are jumping up there, coming up and saying what you've been doing is terrible. Then you should also own up. But the most basic principle in a decent democratic contest is, if you feel you are not happy with your boss, honorably resign. Kenyans will remember you for that. And actually then say, I'm doing it from the opposition. I'm now the official position or something, or join others who are in opposition. But to really make the president or the presidency laughing stock through a series of, I think, Itumbi-driven tweets and stuff like that, in order to laugh and really ruin your boss, I think it is terrible. Yeah, I would advise him very strongly. And in my position, I think I'm able to advise. Yeah.
So you think he has lost it?
Yeah, completely. In fact, I think he should, because you cannot, he knows that the president cannot fire him. And I think probably this is a good thing under Constitution 2010. This is why we have a very good document there, which we want to make better. But look at a situation, even the United States of America, where we actually kind of borrowed this thing, lock, stock, and barrel. If Kamala Harris today begins to attack President Biden openly, obviously Kamala Harris will have to resign. I think it's deceit of the highest order not to mention this. Kenyans should know President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot fire William Ruto. But William Ruto can do the honorable thing. He can resign and say, I've differed psychologically completely with my boss, and Kenyans, you are my judges. And as he like to quote even divinity, yeah? Some of us are serious believers, okay?
Probably my last question, and you've said that you're coming from a past that has been based on deceit and all that. But does that rule out the possibility of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka working with Raila Odinga again?
I work with everybody who is willing to work with me. But we put everything on the table. Absolutely on the table. And Kenyans know me. Good intentions. Good intentions. If anybody was to come and convince me why I should support Raila Odinga for the third time, okay, that's a very easy matter to deal with. Or is it not easier for my brother Raila to say, ndugu yangu Steve, hey, umenisupport twice, tufanye mengine differently? Yeah, we are open. But for me, as of now, it is unthinkable that one Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will support Raila Amolo Odinga for the third time. I would rather go to Sekuru, my friend. Yeah, that's an option. It's as simple as that.
Thank you
So if
very
people
much.
love this country, then they must also be open. Yeah. And for me, I think this is the only time. I think if you say time and stars are aligned, when things are aligned, then honestly, you move in that direction. And you're going to see the country coming along, Ken? Yeah. So at 60 something, my friend, if I don't run now, when do you expect I'll run? Because some people can come and say, oh, okay, Steve, support Raila Odinga, okay? Support Raila Odinga for the third time. Yeah, atafanya tu one term. I've heard this story before. I've heard this story before.
So you don't see any person convincing you to support Raila Odinga?
No. If there is somebody willing to do so, to try that route, they should start off saying, Steve, would you consider going home? That's an option. But if I am listening to this country, this is the time. This is the moment. The moment of reckoning. And by the way, we ran once in 2007. Don't forget. We know the game. We know our country. All right? So I'm going to ask everybody, including my brother Raila, to support me. Hakuna mchezo. If you want us now to save and bring into effect the vision of NASA, the vision of a country that is proud, standing strong among the community of nations, this is the only time. This is the time to move on. And Brother Steve, tuko pamoja in real terms.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What is wrong with that? No. You know, when he said it's good to see a Chap leader and the NAC leader supporting Brother Steve of Wiper, all right? I think it is all within that, what I explained to Ken here, the spirit of inclusion. Spirit of inclusion. So what is wrong with the president suggesting all of you guys unite? Huh? I saw people unite. United.
But under a different arrangement, that's what you say.
There's nothing, what I'm telling you, the president's wish, I'm quite sure, is to leave behind a country that is united, all inclusive, right? And I'm sure that does not rule out his Jubilee Party, obviously.
Yeah.
Doesn't rule out his Jubilee Party.
So we're looking at
in fact, I want to invite Jubilee to join OKA, One Kenya Alliance. And so we all build it together. And if William Samoei Arap Ruto is also feeling this is the move, because there's no joke about this matter, he can also join us.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Asante.
But beyond the challenge,
His approach when he's saying ati huyu mtu atawashinda. No. That is giving William Ruto unnecessary mileage. He shouldn't say mtu atawashinda. We will do a democratic thing. But that is charity for you.
But is there any way that you have just tried to reach out to Raila on your own?
No, I haven't. Yeah, except that I met Paranya, who is the deputy party leader, to try and see whether we can get an agreement on the political parties' fund sharing. I've written extensively on that matter to Raila. Yeah, that one
Any
I've tried.
response?
But I also, when we have, like, of course, I called him because we lost him, Jacobo Mediwo. I had to call him because I know what that meant to Raila. We talk, but we have never sat to discuss 2022. We discussed 2022, by the way, in 2017. That I can tell you.
And what was the response?
No,
then?
no. 2022 was adequately addressed, and again refer, among other things, to the coalition agreement, which is a public document. And what does it say about 2022 between the coalition parties?
But the agreement
ODM was not supposed to field a candidate in 2022. That is public knowledge. That is public knowledge. By the way, under that coalition agreement,
yes.
this is public knowledge, yeah, and that I'm free to discuss openly. ODM was not supposed to field a candidate in 2022. You hear them arguing, oh, but that was meant, that assumed that we have already won. That was, no, what argument is that? What argument? That was supposed to be, if we have won, we have not won nothing. Yes. Ah, my friend, whom are you trying to deceive? No, that was a clearly stated principle. And we must sanitize, begin, Ken, and my friend there, to sanitize Kenyan politics, so that leaders will be held to account on the promises they made, particularly if, in fact, that promise is in writing.
So the agreement was whether you win or you don't win?
No, it wasn't that. Win or not win was on another setup, which I'm not discuss, which I'm not free to discuss. Okay, so, but that was it. Yeah.
What is your view with Kalonzo's presidency? What kind of a Kenya do you have?
If you hear,
So you don't think he can
corruption will be the order of the day. Corruption, oh my goodness. It's clear. It was the most corrupt regime, and you cannot wipe out history. I don't know. So it will be a corruption-led administration, for sure. And we're going to tell Kenyans a lot more. If you have his boss admitting that the first term was, oh my goodness, did you not even hear him say monies were spent even in central Kenya to the tune of 2 billion? I don't know if there's 2 million or 2 billion, a lot of money. In fact, this country is very rich. Where you have people misusing appointments to parastatal organizations, you put in their cronies who will be stealing for you to bring you every Friday before the weekend so much money. These things are very well known.
How much is it, 2 billion?
No. That 2 billion I heard from, I think it was the president who talked about it one time. Yeah. We don't know the statistics. But, and if Kenyans are clear about corruption, this is why I'm still waiting for my friend William Ruto to respond to my points when he talked about Yatta land. Yes. And I said, please, let's deal with it. Yeah. Yeah. And I know, and I want to call on our people to really lift the veil of every leader. Don't be deceived today and then tomorrow you are crying out, we wish we knew. One Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is today telling you, don't make the mistake. This is a time to save this land.
Thank you.
May I also quote your mission?
Yeah.
The last one, about the one Kenya land.
Oh, you mean me as Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka?
Yes. But then,
Well,
Mudavadi also believes that this is his time.
yeah.
I mean, democracy
I can tell you the guys I negotiate with very seriously are those ones. Yeah. If they convince me, fine. If I convince them, fine. Because these are brothers. We know each other. Yeah.
But not the other person.
Well, I don't know. I said our brother Raila is willing to join us. I mean, he's free to join us. That I can tell you for a fact. And in fact, I would love that to be the situation, that he joins us. Okay? However, I cannot see, and I made it clear, I would be the most stupid fellow on the earth to go and support the third time a presidential candidate, all right, without a measure of reciprocity. I think it goes beyond the doctrine of of good faith, justice, fairness. Yeah. And I can tell you, this man you're talking to is very strong. There are people who think, oh, he's a weakling. This guy is very strong. So strong that they are afraid because they know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ruko.
Uko sawa? Nimewapatia yote.
Thank
I think you got in. I'm tired. Umepatiwa chai na huyo kabisa wenu. Birds of a feather.
Today
I
you've
think I've told
spoken.
you. Yeah.
Today you've spoken.
Yeah, we have to really demystify this.
Probably. Labda sasa pia wewe ungemtafuta. Yes. This, me, I think my region TZ, even TZ is very bad. I think we also put in place. That's what I'm. That's actually what I wanted to say. He's been able to manage it in a way. Wajua sisi tulikubali from the word go that this is done well.
Now is this delay in getting vaccines. If we get 15 million of us vaccinated, we are home with open. See now Uganda is out. You can open the country. So that the authority is undermined.
True.
That's a terrible thing.
In Mount Kenya East than Peter Gatirao Munya. Jiondoa. He just wants to be governor. Muturi is still starting up. So if you are able to speak to some people there and aweze kuwa letter to your side, I think you can galvanize the support.
I mean, Moranga, isn't it? David?
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yes, sir.
When Moranga on Sunday,
Yes.
go to church having a day. Ruto will just fill the vacuum.
Yes.
That's what it means.
But watu sasa wataanza kutoa ile video yako ya ile I'd rather go to Sekuru. You once said that before.
I believe this is the moment.
Yes.
This is the moment. I mean, look at my history. Look at it seriously. From an MP to an assistant minister to a minister in so many ministries, and by the way, even deputy speaker. This man has all the experience about his country. Yeah. I remember one time the late Martin Shifuku, we were playing soccer within Neo Stadium. So we tried to get
Sasa tunaweza piga walking shot.
Yeah, unajua what these people are doing, if we're able to find someone who can fund a few of these things, kama hii mkutano ya tarehe 28, I can rope in 2 or 3 people so that we see, Gil will try to outshine you. It's a fact. Sunday. Sasa ndio nasema, so that when we go there, we have a message for every stopover and for the 2 days. So that we know what they are saying and what's the message that we are carrying.
Niambia una shot. Niko na sasa wakaishi.
Okay.
I think it will be good. Yes. So thank you very much for
You see it?
so thank you very much. We've taken so much of your time, but asante sana. Asante.
Thank you. Rolling?
But even as the NASA principals talk of a reunion, Kalonzo Musyoka